Hi, Diana Alexander here with another San Bernardino County COVID-19 news update. As promised, we are bringing you a series of videos that are specifically focused on the concerns that African Americans in our community have during this coronavirus crisis. Today I have with us a special guest. Her name is Dr. Lynne Kennedy. She's Mayor Pro Tem for the city of Rancho Cucamonga, but she's worn many hats in her career, and one of those is a lot of years in the field of education. So today, Dr. Kennedy is going to speak with us about some ideas and some tips and things you ought to know as you're home with your children so that they don't lose all that they've gained during the time that they were in school. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Kennedy. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
And it is my pleasure to address the African American community about what they can be doing during this time, especially with their students. And as Diana mentioned, I've been in education. She was kind enough to not say how long. It's been over 40 years. And I spent the majority of that time working with students as well as adults and helping them become more empowered about their education and about the knowledge that they receive. So that's where I'm going to start. Knowledge is power, but it's only powerful if you have the right information. The information that we give our students, our children, especially parents at home, is to make sure they understand the source of their information. They have to have a good source. If you're going to have solid, accurate information, you need to start with the source. If I had an ailment and I was considering a medical procedure, I would not ask the customer service clerk at Home Depot. I would go there if I'm looking for a home project.
Yes.
But when we're talking about our health and getting the right information about COVID-19, we need to start with the right sources. So having our students understand where they can receive that information. And parents, help them navigate that. Go online, help them understand the CDC or the Centers for Disease Control. Make sure they understand WHO, WHO, World Health Organization, as well as their local public safety and public health facilities and organizations. So that's important. So if you get information, vet that information. Make sure it's accurate. So help students, as well as your other children, adult children, understand how to access the right information. And then be proactive about that. What are the best practices that they need to implement? I talked about best practices when I was a classroom teacher as well as a principal. What should we be doing to make sure that our students are learning? So let's look at those best practices for our health. So when you go on the website or look at the resources that are out, including these webinars, make sure that you vet that information and compare. It's okay to use more than one source. And I'm sure that your teachers are telling you the same thing. Check your sources, have more than one to make sure that information's accurate, and then what are you going to do with it? You have to apply it. It only becomes powerful when it's true, accurate, and you use it in terms of best practices and being safe. Now I want to talk about what they can do while they're at home to make sure during the pandemic. I know a lot of students are at home and they're doing distance learning. How are parents supplementing that distance learning with other resources? Do they have a lab that they can go to, a learning lab or a resource lab at the local library? Are they making sure that students go above and beyond? Yes, you can do the minimum that teachers are giving you to do, the students at home, but what about taking it to the next level? We know that there's a serious education gap, an achievement gap. We talk about now the gap in terms of the disparity in health and those African Americans that are that have the virus and that are not recovering at the rate that others are recovering. But what about the gap in knowledge and education? While students are at home, they really should be supplementing that distance learning and making sure that they're doing everything they can, because we will get through this virus. We will survive, but it's not just about surviving. It's about thriving. Thriving in our physical, emotional well-being and health, but thriving academically as well. So making sure that also reading as much. You can't do too much reading. Read everything, fiction, nonfiction, the newspaper, even a comic book or two. It's just making sure that students are reading and getting grade level, appropriate material, again, at our local libraries, doing everything we can so that while students are at home, they're closing that achievement gap, staying on track for graduating and finishing out this school year, and hopefully we'll be back stronger and better than ever when we start again in the next school year.
Thank you so much. This is really great information, and it's a treat, I know, for those who may not know you to get a chance to be introduced to you. In closing, what would you say, what would be your final words that you would like for our viewers to take away when it comes to just being at home and treasuring that time when they can have an opportunity to really impact the learning of their own children?
That's true. We've all heard it said that parents are the first teachers. So take this opportunity to sit down and engage with your child at home. Monitor their homework, review what they're doing, ask what they're reading. Be a part of their learning, not just an observer of that learning. And when you get back to school, hug a teacher.
I love that. I love that so much.
Or distance it from a teacher. I don't know. High five a teacher. Do that for sure.
Elbow bump a teacher.
No,
We'll do something.
elbow bump a teacher. And I'm sure we all appreciate what they do every single day.
Yes, and probably more now than ever.
More now than ever.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much, Dr. Kennedy. This was really great, and I'm sure that our audience appreciates it a lot.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being here.
This has been another San Bernardino County COVID-19 news update. We're so glad that you tuned in. Until next time, please take care and stay safe.